attempting to address what public policy problem. Raise your hand and I'll call on you. What's the public policy problem here that we're trying to address? Yeah, right, campus sexual misconduct, and it's been a problem for decades, and it continues to be one. There are many differences in the new proposed sexual misconduct guidelines from Education Secretary DeVos in the Trump administration, and they differ from those that were in effect during the Obama administration, exactly mirroring the types of guidance and rules and regulations that Professor Rubin was talking about in terms of suspension. We see this with a presidential switch. Describe these differences if the proposed new guidelines are adopted. So first of all, what about the standard of proof necessary for sexual misconduct charges on college campuses, Obama versus Trump? Yeah, Joe.
Obama, the guidance wanted to mandate a preponderance of evidence.
Which is a lower standard, right, to pursue an assault case. And what about the Trump administration?
And then Trump wants schools to decide whether they want to do that or declare convincing evidence.
Right, which is a higher standard of proof, which might mean that there would be fewer assaults that would be pursued and investigated, okay? So, again, moving from a lower standard of proof that perhaps would benefit more victims to a higher standard of proof. The schools have the option to choose that higher standard, perhaps giving more weight to the accused, okay? The second one, the ability of the involved parties to cross-examine each other, Obama versus Trump. Yeah, Jonathan.
Obama wouldn't allow that because that puts the victim in a place where it triggers a trauma.
Exactly. So this cross-examining can be very harmful to the victim. What about the Trump administration policy?
I think it encourages exchange between both parties where you can bring evidence, and I think they can cross-examine the evidence too.
Yes, yeah, so the Trump administration again, and this was seen as, this was discussed earlier in the article as well, giving more rights to the accused, right? Giving them the right to cross-examine each other and look at each other's evidence. So very different than Obama. The appeals process. What was the appeals process difference? Nobody got that one? Yeah, Joe.
Obama recommends that schools have an appeal procedure. And then the Trump administration, again, said that schools have discretion.
The schools have, so you see the trend here, right? And oftentimes this happens with more conservative presidencies that they give schools, states, localities a lot more autonomy to make their own decisions on these matters versus democratic presidents who tend to like more centralized and uniform policies. The definition of sexual harassment, Obama versus Trump. Yeah, Dante.
Under Obama,
Speak really loud.
Under Obama, it was unwelcome conduct on the basis, unwelcome conduct of a sexual nature that includes unwelcome sexual advances, requests of sexual favors, etc. And under Trump, it's unwelcome conduct on the basis of sex that is so severe, pervasive, and objectively offensive that it denies a person access to the school's education.
And which one is like sort of the higher standard, or the sort of the more this more intense standard?
The Trump definition is a lot narrower.
Yeah, exactly. So the Trump definition is a lot narrower, all right, and really narrows the focus for what constitutes sexual assault. What about the school's knowledge of harassment, Obama versus Trump? Yeah.
Under the Obama administration, there were cases where they deemed the school should have known, or if they either should know or either knew or should have known.
Yeah.
So a lot of colleges had a problem with that because they alleged that was too strict of an expectation for them.
Right.
And then under the Trump administration, they would actually have to be told specifically or explicitly about the incident.
Exactly. So again, sort of a lot more narrow definition of what constitutes the school's knowledge of the harassment. What about the nature of formal complaints, Obama versus Trump? How was the complaints handled differently, or the guidance under each administration for complaints? Yes?
Under the Obama administration, it was more like general members of the community, so it could be like an RA or a faculty member that you talk
That you
about,
talked to,
like,
absolutely.
Versus with Trump, it has to be somebody who can actually like punish or put a corrective measure to it, so
Good.
higher level, like a higher ranking.
Good, a lot higher level authority figure, right? A formal process was definitely necessary under the Trump guidance. What about the location of the misconduct, Obama versus Trump? Yes.
For Trump, he said the new rules would hold schools responsible only for investigating episodes reported to have taken place within their own programs or on their
Exactly.
campuses. And then Obama said that it required that schools investigate a complaint regardless of where the conduct initially took place.
Exactly, a lot broader, again, under Obama, a lot more narrow under Trump. So that is the main distinguishing factor. Everybody write that down. The main distinguishing factor is that Trump, under the Trump administration, a lot of this guidance was a lot more narrow and restrictive in terms of prosecuting these types of sexual assaults versus under the Obama administration, the guidance that was offered was much broader and tended to be viewed much more favorably by advocates of victims' rights. Okay? Trump tended to give more weight to the rights of the accused under his guidance. This article pertains to sexual misconduct on campus. And there is this debate as to whether the colleges should have jurisdiction over these types of assaults or whether they should go directly into the criminal justice system. Give me one reason why you think it might be a good idea for the colleges to have jurisdiction over these types of cases. What did your group come up with? Yes?
A college institution might be able to do this in a government situation.
Okay, so there might be more rapid justice. Any other advantage that you saw for the college handling this type of case rather than the formal criminal justice system? Yeah, right.
They have a better understanding of like the campus lifestyle and what goes on campus, and like the federal courts or the criminal courts are a little more distant. So they,
That's right. So they might have a better contextual knowledge of what's happening on campus than a governmental court system. What are some advantages of the governmental criminal court system immediately taking over these cases from college institutions? Yeah,
It might allow for a more rigorous process.
Okay, good. It might allow for a more rigorous, formalized process than that which takes place on a college campus. What other advantages do you see for the criminal justice system to take these cases? Yeah, Bailey.
It could be less biased if either the victim or the accuser, especially the accuser, the victim or the accused,
Uh-huh.
has some kind of connection to someone in the university.
Good.
Some kind of vested interest.
Good. So if the person, the accused or the victim, has ties within the university, and then the university is going to set out to investigate and then punish the claim, right, or adjudicate the claim, that can lead to issues of bias. Any other reasons why we might want to go directly to the criminal court system? Yeah, Jonathan.
In our group, we said we could establish a precedent.
Uh-huh.
So I guess so like more after that precedent is set, that sets the tone for the rest of the cases and how they be handled.
Good, so maybe more uniformity over the long run. Very, very good. Okay, now I wanted you to think about your experiences at Rutgers. Did you come up with specific proposals to deal with sexual assault and to decrease the rate of sexual assault? And then what was one corresponding barrier to implementation for the reform that you would like to see put in place? What did you all come up with? Give me one. Anyone? Yes.
More police in off-campus areas,
Okay.
but the barrier is like who's in control of that area? Is it like Rutgers police or New Brunswick police?
Okay, good. Yeah, who's going to actually do the patrolling? Is it going to be Rutgers University safety, or is it going to be the New Brunswick Police Department? Yeah. issues of jurisdiction and control could definitely be a barrier to implementation. What other types of reforms did you think that would help decrease sexual assault across the campus? Yeah, Bailey.
There's two things that we say can be repaired. For example, there's a lot of places on College Ave or our campus that there's very little lighting.
Oh, really? At night? I'm just here during the day, so is it quite dark at night?
Yeah,
That's
especially where the party part.
Oh, really? Right on College Avenue itself? Or more off campus? Okay, so lighting, and what would be a barrier to doing that?
Well, money, first of all.
Money is always a
Of course,
barrier.
Some people who might say that seems insignificant, or
Okay.
that's not worth it.
Okay, also, who probably owns the land, right? Like if it's a private property, you can't put lights up on somebody's property without their permission. What other type of reform, Abby, did you have one?
We kind of did. This is kind of like going above and beyond. We talked about maybe like creating just like a 1-credit class about sexual misconduct on campus that's like
Interesting.
required for graduation that everyone has to take.
Okay, I like that a lot. And what would be a barrier to implementation?
Well, there's like, I know like engineering majors, it's really hard to even graduate on time with that. So like trying to first of all, get that passed probably would take a long time.
Right.
And then trying to get, like, you fit it into everyone's schedules would also be kind of challenging.
Okay, great. Just 1 minute before you pack up, just I want to have your attention for 1 second. You all did a fabulous job on this worksheet. I would say that I think that you all are becoming really, really good at identifying public policy problems, identifying alternative ways to handle that problem, but then also being aware that there can be barriers to implementation. We might not be able to get what we want. Good job, everybody. Thank you so much. I will see you in office hours or next time next week.